Howdy, Ags, and welcome into another episode of From the East Side of Kyle Field, TexAgs student podcast for students by students, and I am one of your student hosts, Kay Nagley, alongside Luke Evangelist, and then we have our very own managing editor, Mr. Richard Zane, joined us today.
Glad you got my name right this time.
Richard Zane.
Happy to be here.
Hey, Richard James, who'd we have on today?
Oh, so we had Mr. Jacob Waters. He's a sports editor at Auburn student newspaper, the Auburn Plainsman. I hear you guys went and had a lot of fun with some of your classmates out at Ticket Pull. And then, of course, we always get the update from Texas A&M Volleyball from Kennedy Cavin and Texas A&M Soccer with Kylie Stoner. So SEC plays here. A lot to run down.
Heck yeah, heck of an episode. Let's check it out. Howdy, y'all. We are back with Jacob Waters, sports editor for the Auburn Plainsman. The A&M takes on Auburn this weekend, 11 a.m., at Kyle Field. Jacob, thank you so much for joining us. We just wanted to know a little bit about you, and then ultimately, how did you end up becoming sports editor at Auburn?
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, first of all. But I've been at Auburn going to my fourth year now. I joined the Plainsman when I was a sophomore, just as a sports writer, and then just covered everything I could. Got to sports reporter, and then assistant sports editor, and then eventually the person above me, she left the Plainsman, so I got to move up to sports editor.
Nice.
That's awesome. So year one with Hugh Freeze, what's the opinion of him, and what would be considered a good season for him to start at Auburn?
Yeah, are you asking me or like the Auburn fans, like their kind of
Either
opinion
one.
of it, or
Either
both?
one.
Okay. For me, I would just say kind of make a bowl game. I think that would be a realistic expectation. But obviously for the fans, they're going to be expecting Auburn to kind of be at where Auburn used to be. So I think a lot of Auburn fans probably coming to season are sitting around like 8-4, 9-3. But to me, that's a little unrealistic, especially with how bad Auburn was last season. Like I said, I think just making a bowl game would be like a good expectation to have for Auburn, but especially in year one with Hugh Freeze. But the biggest thing I think for Auburn is when it loses games, that I think they need to be competitive in those losses. We saw way too much last year of Auburn losing 40-12 at home against Penn State, 38-23 against Arkansas, letting Ole Miss run for like 400 yards on them. So I think even if there's not like a huge improvement in the overall record, as long as Auburn looks like a little more competent, to be honest, then that would be a good step in the right direction.
Auburn's quarterback, Peyton Thorne, transferred from Michigan State and then obviously has a lot of experience under his belt. What have the early returns been like with him?
Yeah, he definitely had his best game last game. Granted, that was against Samford, but he had over 400 total yards with the 123 on the ground, and he had 4 touchdowns as well. So that was easily his best game. Against UMass, he looked okay, but that's when Auburn was still rotating quarterbacks a lot. Against Samford, he got just about every snap until Auburn's brought in all of its backups. Like against Cal, he was not that great, to be honest. Just wasn't very efficient, threw an interception, and he did have 2 touchdowns, but just the whole offense that game was terrible. So I'd say for the first three games, he's kind of, to me at least, been kind of expected. I didn't expect him to be like a game changer by any means, but I don't think he's going to ever like kill Auburn in a game.
Yeah, so Texas A&M comes into this matchup with a loss to Miami, but Miami could prove to be one of the better teams in the ACC. Do you feel Auburn has had a true test yet, or will this be their first one of the season?
Yeah, I think this will probably be the first true one of the season. Going into that Cal game, yeah, it's a Power 5 team. It's on the road. And there's a bunch of different things, Auburn having to fly across the country, play pretty late. But I don't think Cal is really any good. They weren't good last year. They haven't looked good this year. So I don't think – I guess that game ended up being a test, but I don't think it really should have. So I'd say A&M's like really definitely the first like real test of the season for Auburn, especially on the road again.
Mm-hmm. Auburn actually leads the conference right now in rushing yards, and A&M is only is holding their opponents to 95 rushing yards a game. What do you think Auburn's running game will just produce this weekend, and do you think A&M will be able to hold up?
I actually do think A&M will be able to hold up because, yeah, like you said, Auburn's first in the SEC in rushing yards per game. But that's pretty inflated. Against UMass, Auburn ran it for almost 300 yards, which is obviously really good. But against Cal, I mean, the offense could not run the ball at all. And against Samford, even, like I said, Peyton Thorne had 123 yards on the ground, but the running backs combined for like 25 carries for 80 yards. Against Cal, Auburn fumbled it 3 times. So I think yeah, Auburn is first in the SEC in rushing yards per game, but I don't think that tells the full story. I think Auburn kind of padded the stats against UMass a little bit on the ground, and then in the last 2 games hasn't been near as good. And I wouldn't expect Peyton Thorne to rush for 100 yards again against a team like Texas A&M compared to last week against Stanford.
Mm-hmm. So we've never been to Auburn. It looks beautiful. We would love to go.
Mm.
But if we were to go, what's your go-to recommendation, something we must see, must do?
Yeah, for me, easily Tumor's Corner. Even if it's not like after a win with no toilet paper in the trees, it's still beautiful. And then there's Sanford Lawn right next to it, which is also beautiful. But definitely Tumor's. You got Tumor's Drugs right there too, where you can get some really good lemonade. That's just the downtown part of Auburn. And you got like a few bars down there too. So yeah, that's definitely the biggest place I would say for me. Tumor's Corner. Everything is right there.
This may be your same answer, but I mean, I know here at Texas A&M, on a Friday night before a game or even after a game, Northgate is usually the place to go here. I'm curious, what is a Friday night like just being an SEC or an Auburn student in the SEC?
Yeah, for most people, it's definitely going to Sky Bar in downtown Auburn. So that's one of the 3 bars, but that's definitely the most popular one and definitely the most, I guess, like kind of outrageous one. That's where if you want to just have a really, really fun time, that's where you go. So yeah, definitely Sky Bar. That would probably be the comparison to Northgate.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is something that we want to ask all the SEC editors that we interview. What is your favorite tradition at Auburn? What's your favorite thing about your school?
I think Tumor. I would say Tumors, but I think, and this one only really connects to football, but the Eagle flight before the game, I think that's definitely the coolest part about Auburn, and especially on game days. I've been going to Auburn games since I was born, and that never gets old, never gets boring, especially when it flies right over you. There's no better part about Auburn than that to me.
Yeah, that seems like an awesome tradition. Speaking of cool tradition, we're kind of biased, but we think we have some pretty cool ones here at Texas A&M. What is the first one that you think of that comes to your mind?
Yeah, the first one, really the only one. Well, I guess is Midnight Yell. Is that considered a tradition? Okay,
that's a
well,
thing.
I guess that's the first one that comes to mind, but I feel like that's what most people know. The only other one I know is about the rings that y'all get. I don't know any of the details about it, like when you graduate. But I know that that's like a big one and a pretty unique one for A&M based on what I've heard.
Yeah, I'm about to get mine, next week?
Yeah,
and Luke already
I've already
has
got
his.
mine.
It's a big deal here.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you so much, Jacob. We really appreciate it. Good luck this week, and we hope Saturday's a good one.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Big thanks to Jacob Waters of the Auburn Plainsman for joining us. Each week, we are going to have different SEC sports editors talking about Texas A&M's upcoming opponent.
Yeah, and now let's go talk to some A&M students at Ticket Pool. Hey, y'all, we're sitting down here with Beth, class of 2025.
Hey, whoop! Howdy, y'all. We are sitting down with Kelly, class of 2027. We are sitting down here with Christian, class of 2025 here at Ticket Ball.
Hey, y'all, we're sitting down here with Ava, class of 2027. Hey, y'all, we're sitting down here with Jackson. Hey, y'all, we're sitting down here with Ryan at Ticket Pool. Who are we playing this week?
We're playing Auburn this week.
Auburn.
We are playing Auburn. Auburn University.
Playing Auburn this weekend.
Our opponent is Auburn, and come check it out. I got a lot of. It's a big rivalry.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Do you know what Auburn's mascot is?
Yeah, it's a tiger and a war eagle.
Tigers.
The Tigers. Although I don't know where War Eagle came from. I think that they're just trying to be special.
The Tigers or the Eagles.
Give us your best impression of like if a tiger and an eagle were having like a screaming battle. What would that sound like?
Why are you gonna?
Can you say one nice thing about Auburn?
Nope.
I will say their intro when they bring like the eagle down and like it like flies. I don't know how they train the bird to do that, but like that's really cool. It's like a cool like kickoff.
No.
I will say I have one nice thing to say about them is I had a high school teacher that was very influential in my life, and he went to Auburn. So that's really the only thing I say that good has come out of Auburn.
Yeah.
I think the name Auburn is actually pretty cool.
I can't. They actually rejected me when I applied.
Whoa! Hey, to quote
So it's
Coach
really,
Prime,
I'm out here and my Aggies better win.
It's personal.
They're fighting for me this week. It's personal. It's getting personal
right.
this week.
As Coach Prime would
Coach
say,
Prime.
give me my theme music. He's got his sunglasses on, and it's personal.
Exactly. That's what I'm coming into the stadium. That's my energy this
Good.
week.
You should be.
You're going to love this next question. Say something bad about Auburn.
Who wants to go to school in Alabama and not go to the University of Alabama?
I mean,
Little brother.
I hate to play
It's
devil's
like
advocate
the
here,
little
but
brother.
like you did apply. So
I did apply. I'm
Did you
sorry.
apply to Alabama also?
No. You got me there.
Yeah.
You got me
Sorry.
there.
Checkmate.
You got me there.
Let's see. I'm trying. Well, let's just say that the little brother of Alabama.
I hate their logo. Their logo is disgusting.
I think the name Auburn is pretty stupid.
I don't know why they have two mascots and what even is a war eagle.
Yeah.
We know what it is, but we don't want to
But
know.
like, yeah.
Why do you have a tiger and a war eagle? It doesn't even correlate
It doesn't
at
even
all.
make sense. Yeah. Thoughts on an 11 a.m. kickoff?
I don't like it actually.
You
at
don't
all.
like it?
No.
No?
I have to go into work first. So I have to
Oof.
work from 7 to 10.
Okay.
So it's going to be rough. We're going to
Yeah.
go in with my hair and makeup done.
Yeah.
Run home, take a couple shots, run to the game. Can I say that?
It's nice because the weather is at least a little bit better,
Mm-hmm.
and that also means I have an excuse to sleep in after a week. So
Yeah.
that's also
Too early for you?
It's a touchy subject.
Okay.
You know, I usually like to wake up at 11 a.m., but I guess I'll be up for my Aggies.
Mm-hmm.
All I want is for the tailgates to have breakfast tacos. That's all I want.
I
in
feel
this
like that's
world.
the only good thing about
Yeah.
the tailgating beforehand.
What's your go-to breakfast taco?
I would say egg and cheese.
Oh.
No meat.
No taste buds over here.
No meat. Maybe some bacon if I'm feeling crazy.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Who would you want to be best friends with on the team?
Best friends. Connie football, baby. Come on.
Oh, you gotta go Evan Stewart.
Connor Wegman.
Good answer.
Connor Wegman.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the man.
If I had to be best friends, I'd probably say, like a really stereotypical answer, but like Anaya Smith or like Connor Wigman.
What does Hugh Freeze sound like he does for a living?
Coach football.
Middle school history.
I think he is, you know, the icy, like, you know, the drink and icy?
Yeah.
You know, the polar bear who's the mascot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's him.
I would say that he definitely sells Dr. Pepper.
I feel like they would be like the Incredibles guy, Frozone. I feel like they'd be like Frozone.
Yeah.
Guys,
Tradition
I don't know
wants to
who
take
Hugh
you.
Freeze is,
He's the
but-
Auburn head coach.
Oh, yikes. But actually, we love and support him.
Yeah.
Jimbo and him are going to get lunch before the game.
Which player on the team do you think could land an airplane?
Gotta go Wiggy. I feel like he's just got the confidence to just, and I feel like he's just the type of person that just knows how to do it for some reason.
Yeah.
Bro. I don't know.
I think Noah Thomas.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Seems intelligent.
Yeah, he just seems, he's giving pilot energy, kind of. Just feel like he would know how to fly a plane. Connor Wegman.
Good
Yeah.
answer.
Honestly, I think Moose Muhammad would, just because of his insane catches, and I think his improv on the fly, his quick-footedness. I just think out of all the guys,
Yeah.
he always comes in clutch.
Name your favorite Australians.
Nick Constantinu,
Jordan Moko,
Heath Ledger,
Keith Urban.
Steve Irwin.
Oh, this really cool student that we got to interview. I think our favorite Australian of all time.
He's back.
He's
My birthday buddy.
your
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
buddy,
Tom.
And our favorite Australian. Here's Tom. All right, we are back with one of our favorite guests we have had up to this moment. Tom, the Australian exchange student, is back with us at Ticket Pool. Tom, we are so glad to have you.
It's great to be back.
It's been a little bit over a month since we saw you last. What's life been up to? What you been up to lately?
Oh, it's been hectic. I mean,
Yeah?
there's went to a first football game the other day against New Mexico. Been trialing out, playing a bit of rugby, and just generally taking in the sights of College Station so far.
That's awesome. So last time you were on, you said your favorite player was Nick Constantinu. He's
Yep.
been repping the Aussies. His punting average is 25th in the nation, top 25. So what are your thoughts on him repping for y'all?
Oh, I mean, that's why they send the Aussie boys over to punt for college and the NFL. They've got a big boot on them, and Nick's showing it.
Last time we talked to you, you talked about your favorite restaurants in College Station. One, do you have any new favorites? And then, have you found a better dip than ranch?
New favourites, I've tried Whataburger since,
Okay.
and I mean that's a go-to. I found out that it is available at all hours of the day. So
What's your order?
What's my order? Like a chicken strip melt, and then you get the buffalo sauce and the ranch on the side and put it on top. There's a bit of inside information there.
Nice. Have you heard about the honey butter chicken biscuit?
I have. I'm yet to try it though.
You got to get to it.
Yeah.
I'll get around to it.
Good one.
Can you teach us some Australian slang?
Australian slang. Servo.
Say that again.
Servo is like a service station, which is essentially a gas station.
Servo?
Servo.
Wait,
S-
spell it for us.
SERVO.
Okay,
Servo.
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 And then you can double down on that with Arvo. I'm sure you guys know it, like afternoon. I don't know if there's one thing we're good at, it's shortening words for no reason.
So Avo is afternoons.
Yeah.
You're like, good afternoons, good Avo? Is that
Arvo.
something? Avo?
Just avo.
Avo?
I like
Avo
that.
is something you put on toast. Arvo is an Arvo.
That's awesome. So we talked a little bit before, but we were going to ask if you've been to Northgate and what are your thoughts on Northgate and just the nightlife in College Station?
I've been to Northgate a couple of times. Someone actually recognised me from the other thing I did last time. So I'll cheers to you guys for that. But I don't know. I've been into Northgate. It's been some interesting experiences in there so far, and I'm sure there'll be plenty more to come over the next few months.
That's awesome. Do you have a favorite place you've been at Northgate?
Well, the Spot's the only one that hasn't kicked me out yet so far. So.
Dang.
That's
There are a lot of different traditions at Texas A&M, and I'm sure you've come to realize that a little bit. Do you have anything that you are just super confused by, or that maybe we can teach you a little bit more about? A certain yell, a certain...
Super confused
we
by
do.
not really. I think I've sort of managed to pick up the gist of it maybe. I still think it's awesome that there's people camping out so early before the games, and even the tailgates, you got people parked up there 48 hours before there's anything going on. So no, credit to the fans that are coming out and showing the passion.
Yep. So you're back here at Ticket Pool. How excited are you for this game?
I'm stoked. I mean, everyone's been sort of telling me so far the first few games are good, but wait till we get a really, really good competitive game here at home. And so, I'll be stoked to watch A&M beat the hell out of Auburn this weekend.
Yeah, we heard, so we were talking before, we heard you're on the rugby team. If you can just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's been the last few weeks, trialled out for the rugby team, and was fortunate enough to get picked to the squad. So there's another Aussie fella that's kicking around here playing, and there's a few Irishmen. There's a whole mix of people at the moment. So but just on rugby, October 14th, there's no home game here. We're going to pack Penberthy for Oklahoma. So the sooner they get here, the sooner we beat them.
I like
That's
what he
awesome.
did there.
So you already touched on it. We're playing Auburn this week. Who's their mascot, the Tigers or the War Eagles?
Oh, I want to say Tigers, but no, that's LSU. They're War Eagles, aren't they?
Okay, give us your best War Eagle impression.
I know, you guys have body. So you blokes carry on.
That was pretty good. Talking about Auburn, can you say one nice thing about Auburn or anything that you've learned about them?
I don't know, but I haven't heard their name at the top of the SEC for a little while now, so let's keep it that way.
And then our last question is, who would win in a fight between us?
What do you mean, me and you?
Oh, no.
Oh, wait,
No, me and Kay.
Oh, between you and Kay. I don't know, whoever lands the first punch.
Ooh.
Probably Kay.
Yeah, I was about to say. Come on.
Then I'm taking the overs on Kay.
Yeah.
All right, Tom, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Welcome back to Ticket Poll. We're battling the conditions out here. We send it over to Kay Nagley for a weather update.
It's really windy. The rain is coming down. Stay indoors. All right, we are back inside. We are avoiding that weather out there. We are back talking some Aggie volleyball with Kennedy, Cavin. Kennedy, let's go back to that Houston game. A ranked team. It seemed like they waited to the third set to get going. Just what was going on in that game, and then do you feel like they just kind of weren't clicking until the third set?
I think they got caught on their heels. I don't think that they were. I think they were prepared, but I don't think they were expecting the level of like high intensity offense that Houston was running and the quick offense that Houston was running. I don't think that they have necessarily seen somebody this season, and I don't think that they will until probably 2 weeks from Mississippi State, where they run that fast of an offense. Statistically, running a fast offense like that is you're going to dominate against a defense that can block. It's just what happens.
Yeah, so the Aggies then swept Liberty on Friday. That's got to feel good heading into SEC play.
For sure. I think it kind of gave them a confidence boost, especially after that loss against Houston. I mean, it was good that they took one set away from them, but I think coming out of Liberty, and it was a dominant win too, it was kind of what Houston did to them. They got to do back to Liberty. So I think it was a good confidence boost. Coach Morrison in the press conference was just talking about, I think all that game was just preparation, solely preparation for SEC play. I don't think it was a stat builder by any means, but it looks good on the stat books. But I think that was a confidence builder, and for them to be ready to go into SEC play.
Yeah, like you said, conference play is here. Just kind of want to run through some of the top dogs historically in the SEC, and then is it, even more dominant this season?
Yeah, historically, Florida has always been a powerhouse. They won a national championship. I'm not sure how long ago, but they've always been very, very good. They've always had a very good program. LSU was also really good, but I think they kind of fell off this year. I think they lost. I know that they lost their libero. So I think that they're having an off year a little bit. Arkansas is always really good. I mean, there's no team in the SEC that is really bad. I think we were at the very bottom of the pack last year, but we've made our way up into the top, middle, I think I would say. So I think they're going to have a really big challenge against Florida. I think they'll have a big challenge against Arkansas. And I don't think Mississippi State is going to be easy either for them.
Yeah, so Coach Morrison mentioned that he knew the SEC would be good, but it's even better than he thought. Are there other programs like Texas A&M rising up this year?
I don't think, in my humble opinion, I don't think that there's any programs that have made a jump like we have necessarily on a first-year head coach this year. I think that there are teams, like I said, LSU, who have dropped unexpectedly, but I don't think that there are any teams kind of doing that movement that we're doing up from the very bottom.
Yeah.
Number 16, Arkansas, and then Florida, number 3 in the country. Both away matches on deck. Those are some pretty good tests at the beginning of SEC play.
They are, and it scares me in the sense of that I don't want us to lose our confidence going into the rest of SEC play, because that's just the very beginning of it. And so I think Mississippi State will be a great test for them, and then I think you jump right into 2 of the hardest teams that you have to play all season. It'll be interesting. It'll be good for them. It'll be a learning curve. Like Coach Morrison said, I think everybody knows this is not a national championship team, but it is a team that could go really far. So I think this will be a good test, and I think it'll be a good test for everybody who's a fan of volleyball, Texas A&M volleyball, to see that and to be like, okay, is this team really, really good, or are we on a building year still?
Yeah, thank you so much, Kennedy. We'll be back talking Aggie soccer. We're back with Kylie Stoner. A lot has happened since we last talked to you. Let's go back to that 1-1 draw with Kentucky. Take us through the action.
So the Aggies still haven't lost to the Wildcats. They tied 1-1. Kate Colvin fouled in the Aggies' box. Penalty kick on Kenna Caldwell. Kenna blocked it. The forward for Kentucky scored off the rebound, so they got their first. And then following it up pretty soon after, Kate Colvin scored the equalizer, and it just stayed like that. But Kate Colvin went up for a header, hit it pretty wonky. It went in the goal, but she had a bloody nose after. Dedication.
Yeah, sounds like it. Obviously, good to tie against Kentucky, but it's even better to have a 10-0 win like they did on Sunday against Texas Southern. Last non-conference game of the season. What did you see from the Aggies, and how'd they end up winning 10-0?
Well, it was a lot. I was tweeting, going a little fast.
Yeah.
7 different goal scorers, an own goal. Taylor Jernigan and Jasmine Wilkinson each had 2 at the end. They finally got it on frame. There was like 36 shots, 24 on goal. It was a much better ratio for them than normal. So I think going into SEC play with that, it really boosted their confidence for sure. But with those goal scorers, it was like the first one was in like the 3rd minute.
Jeez.
It went all the way into like
back to
84.
Dang. Wow.
It was intense for sure.
That's a good way to win a game.
Yeah. Looking ahead to Thursday, it's the Aggies' first SEC road game of the season at Mississippi State at 6:30. How are you feeling about the Aggies heading into this one?
I'm feeling better. Still a little weary. Mississippi State, the Aggies played them last season twice, in season and then in the SEC tournament, lost both times. Aggies have lost the last 3 games against Mississippi State, but the very last one in the SEC tournament was lost in, I want to say, like double overtime.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think they have some revenge coming out. So hopefully they can pull through and show out against Mississippi State and then Arkansas after that.
We know the SEC is just tough as a conference in general for any sport. If you could just kind of take us through some of the top dogs in the SEC for soccer specifically, and then what you're ultimately expecting from the Aggies in SEC play.
So Arkansas is a really, really big one.
Mm-hmm.
So playing them at home on their Taylor Swift themed night is going to be pretty fun.
That'd be cool.
And I would say Alabama is another pretty big one, ranging across all the sports. But I think A&M is pulling through. They got that confidence from the 10-0 win. Hopefully that's enough to pull them through SEC play. I would say that they are improving. Their shots are getting better, and a lot more are going in for sure, especially after that 10-0.
Yeah, it's good to hear.
Thank you all so much for tuning in. That's all we got on today's episode of From the East Side.
And if you're watching on Thursday, make sure to wish our very own Luke Evangelist, better known as Bubby, a big ol' happy birthday. Now let's go beat the hell out of Auburn.